Hello Tarragar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another work mode workout. And today was dynamic effort pressing day. And today's workout was hard. Not the benching. The benching was easy. Like my speed benching, not a problem. In fact, I started with this and I'm like, let me just go ahead and go up another 5 pounds. This double felt a little too light even for my dynamic work because of the way I'm doing it with paused work instead of bands and everything. As far as needing enough weight near the lockout to follow through, I need to go moderately heavy. So I need to be above 80%. But because of that, and because I'm doing this instead of an easier exercise to recover from like a floor press or something else, I decided to stick with Prelipin's chart and cut myself off at 10 doubles instead of going to 12 or like 14 or anything like that. And I feel like I can micro load from here with 10 doubles. Especially since I'm doing another big compound as a pressing movement in the same workout, because I really want to focus a lot on the push press. So this is getting my quality training, my volume for my bench in, and then my hypertrophy work for the bench is coming out of this. And then I can do more of the real heavy work on Tuesdays on max effort day. So I'm going to rotate through multiple different bench variations, but I will probably do a bit of heavy back off benching and put a little less effort into overhead pressing, because I feel like I can only handle so much overhead pressing volume if I'm going to specialize in the bench a little bit, and I really need to make that mileage count. And so I want to be able to focus on heavy bench work and a lot of extra tricep work on my max effort day. So I'm going to do this way, and then we're going to go with just enough volume to where we're not going to risk overuse injuries, and then being able to focus on the push press, because I really need to focus on the push press. I feel like that's going to be a major important exercise for me. I feel like I'm weak at it relative to my strict press. And it's an all-around great strength and power builder. I could really use the extra tricep strength, the shoulder strength, and everything that it brings. I'm already strong at the strict press, slightly disproportionate, but I'm weak at that. And again, possibly indicative of tricep weakness and maybe needing to work on general explosiveness through my full body. I feel like it can bring a lot to the table. So I feel like micro loading from here with pause bench for dynamic work for 10 doubles on speed day is going to kind of be the way to go. And I can slowly work this up. I mean, and eventually we'll get this up to where it's another 10 pounds, 15, maybe 20 pounds heavier. Maybe we'll get to where we're doing over 300 for speed work, right? In which case I'll probably have a pretty good bench at that point, because again, I need to specialize in bench a little bit. And again, I feel like I can focus on this of going slightly heavier all around on benching and then push pressing, because I'm picking slightly easier things to recover from squatting, like doing box squats and stuff like that. Again, I can put a little more specific programming into this. So this is where I'm going to go 10 doubles, and we're going to use slow progressive overload on it for my speed work. But I felt like this today was a good weight, the 275 for 10 doubles. Actually pretty good. It felt good. I didn't feel that fatigued afterwards. Now, not feeling fatigued and feeling like the weight's still pretty light when your final set is a different thing than being able to continue to perform. And I found out when I got to the push presses, this was more fatiguing than hitting a max bench was earlier this week. Like push pressing was actually harder today than it was on Tuesday, because quite frankly, it's just not that fatiguing to come in and hit one max bench and then maybe do a little bit of pull-ups, right? Because that's all I did, a couple sets of pull-ups afterwards. I had a lot left in the tank. This actually fatigued my peripheral nervous system more, right? It did, to the point to where even though this felt good, this felt light. It didn't feel heavy at any point. The bar speed felt good, and I just exploded on every rep, which is what we want to do with compensatory acceleration. We wanted 20 effective training reps, right? The same thing we would get as if we took 4 sets to failure, right? In terms of effective training volume, or within one rep of failure. So again, this is a lot of my hypertrophy work. And again, I felt it really well on my chest, felt it a little on the triceps. So again, this is very, very chest dominant for me. And interesting, even though we know my triceps are my weak link, I didn't really feel much in my triceps on the benching. A little bit, but when I got to the push pressing, I noticed the definite fatigue setting in. And I struggled a bit with push press today. Like I struggled with balance. I feel like I got one really good set in where I felt strong. Like this first ramp up, this was easy, obviously, because it's just 185. But I went to 205, which I did, 5 triples with on Tuesday? I did 5 triples with that. I got one good triple with it today. And from there on, I felt like I struggled with the movement. I mean, I grounded out, and I kept working on it, and I actually reduced the weight when I realized it was becoming a problem. I've got to learn bar path on this. I've got to learn how to drive through on this, because it is different from a strict press. And when I try to use a similar bar path to what I use on the strict press, it doesn't work the same. The bar gets further in front of me. Like this set was good, right? Look, nice and strong. Everything looking good. No problems just driving through, right? Nice, good start. Drive through. I'm maintaining my balance. A little tough on the third rep. I got to this next set and I lost my balance on the second rep. Did you guys see me step forward? It's because when the bar came down, it came past my midfoot. So it took me off balance. And from there on out, I pretty well kind of struggled a little bit with it. So if you guys watch this, I mean, again, there's no risk of injury because I could just, drop it down. Not really a problem. But right here on the way down, notice that step forward, the bar pulled too far forward. You guys got to remember, this is over 200 pounds. And it's pretty close to my own body weight. All right? 205, I'm weighing like 218 right now. So I struggled with it, and it felt like I struggled a little bit with balance with this weight all the way through. And I realized, after a couple of sets of this, I'm going to have to just reduce the weight slightly. Like this one was kind of the same. Again, I lost my balance here. That's the reason I struggled with the lockout, because notice it's easier on the other one. See, I locked it easier. The bar slipped out of its groove. Like it felt like it got too far forward. And again, just missing my groove. So I've got a big learning curve with this exercise. If I want to get good at it. I had someone in the comments on my fan page say, "Hey, can you hit a max on this?" It's like, no, man, it's my dynamic work, and I'm struggling with rep work as far as getting the bar path down. I've got to learn this exercise. So I dropped down to 195 for my last 3 sets here, and they went better. They were challenging though, and I'm not going to lie, like they were actually challenging. But I'm used to doing strict press volume work with 10 pounds less than this, and I'm already fatigued here. So eventually I'll get good at the push press, but I feel like for me, this is kind of a weak link. And I feel like if I can get better at this exercise, it'll carry over to my general strength. So, okay, I'm going to work on it. We're going to work on it once a week, probably on Fridays. We're going to put some effort into training it, and maybe over time get good at this exercise. So again, if you're bad at something, put your efforts into it, get good at it. That's what we always want to do. Whatever your weak links are, you train them. Just like for me, I know my triceps are weak link. I'm training the hell out of them. I'm doing a lot of rear delt work, doing a lot of hamstring work right now. But triceps are a weak link for me. Well, this helps address the triceps, actually. It's one of my 2 things to work on them. But because I know they're a weak link, maybe that's part of the problem with this exercise. So I need to get good at it. Work on what you're weakest at. Doesn't mean you drop your normal programming, but our accessory movements, our assistance movements, we need to do the ones that we suck at until you no longer suck at them. And I was really exhausted after that. That was hard. So it was a struggle to do chin-ups today. It's like, man, by the time I got to these chin-ups, I had to just dig in to do 3 sets. And it's like, I got them. And I'm doing a fairly narrow grip because I feel this narrow grip more in my biceps. And I'm not going to lie, my delts, my entire shoulder girdle was throbbing after that. Like my shoulders were fatigued. I feel like I was doing all bicep on these chin-ups. Like I felt like biceps were the only muscles left to do chin-ups with. And that slightly narrower grip for me, it's a longer range of motion. I feel like I get a deeper stretch on it. I feel like, okay, I'm just going to get a nice deep stretch and get, 3 good sets of volume in here and just get some bicep work and a little bit of back work in here because I'm tired, but I'm going to dig in and do it. And again, it felt like because my shoulders didn't have much left, I really couldn't use much shoulder in these chin-ups. And even my lats, to some extent, felt fatigued from those push presses. So my lats got some work here, but I felt all bicep in it, particularly with this nice longer range of motion doing that narrow grip. Left my biceps pretty lit up. And, hey, I could use bigger, stronger biceps. I think particularly because I'm doing a little bit of mixed grip. back and forth when my thumbs get fatigued for my volume deadlifting. The extra bicep work might be beneficial here just to reduce the chance of a bicep tear. So nice bicep dominant chin up where you use an underhand grip with a little bit of a narrow grip. You can really stretch those biceps. Probably beneficial from an injury prevention standpoint there, just in case. Not that I'm worried with the volume work at the end of tearing a bicep because I'm not doing my heavy deadlifts with it. But, better safe than sorry. So I think a little heavier focus on chin-ups. And like I said, I could use the biceps. And this is a great all-around accessory movement for my bench and everything else. I think chin-ups is a fantastic accessory. So, again, doing it for some volume here, got some bicep work in, which I, again, need. But they were hard. Like, these were just hard today. Just getting 3 sets of 6 with this weight and my boots on. Plus 5 boots of autism. It was tough. Like this was a workout where I kind of had to dig in. This was one of those workouts where I'm getting into it and getting into the volume to where I'm standing here missing being on TRT. I'd miss gear at that point. I'm not gonna lie. Like you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyone who's ever been enhanced before who comes completely off. You get into workouts like this and it is like, man, what I wouldn't give for a couple deep hole taps at this point. But instead I slammed an extra strong cup of coffee midway through, kept that coffee going and went ahead and dug in and just continued grinding it out. Just grinding it out. But I'm not going to lie, man, when I get to some of these longer workouts like today, these volume training on my dynamic days, there are days when I actually, in the middle of the workout for a moment, I regret going completely natty and completely clean. I do at that point because it's hard. It's hard, but sometimes you have to just dig in and, you have to find that inner strength to push through that workout, and that's what I had to do. And I filmed the JM presses from 2 angles. I went ahead and left my chin up and push press camera angle so people can see what I'm doing on the exercise. I did 6 sets today, so I did 3 of them still left at that angle. And then I did 3 from the normal angle I used for the bench press. So people can kind of see what this exercise is who are a little confused on it. Because it's a hybrid between almost a closed grip bench, although I'm using my normal bench grip now, which is about 2 inches inside the rings. And it's a mix between a closed or medium grip bench press and a skull crusher. All right, that's what it is. And I'm bringing the bar above my face with extreme tuck on the elbows. So you don't really use the bulldog grip on this either, which I'm not. If you guys notice, there's considerable wrist bend. I'm not using a bulldog grip because I actually position my wrist inward instead of outward, like you do for bulldog grip on the bench. But I got my 5x10 with this weight. This is the weight I up to with the micro plates. You guys see the little micro plates on there. You may or may not be able to see them. They're black. They're 1 1/4. I added those this week. And I got 5x10. It was a little tough, and I got to the last set. I've tried to get a 6 set, and I had to stop at like 8 reps. My triceps and everything just cramped to the point to where I just couldn't go any further. It's all I had left. That was the end. This was a lot of training volume. My triceps were feeling pretty beat up between the speed bench and then the push presses. And then I got several sets into this. By that 3rd set, work set of this, I was feeling my triceps. They were just like, what are you doing to us? We know we're a weak link. We know we're the weak link, but maybe you're taking this a little too seriously. And I had to just tell my triceps, you guys need to shut up. You need to submit. You need to go ahead and push this weight up. And I pretty much took my triceps to exhaustion. Trying to get that 6 set in, I just didn't have all 10 reps. And I think I got 11 for the 5th set last time, but that was after max effort benching. Totally different animal. The volume today, though, it killed them. And hopefully it keeps working. Again, I'm kind of hitting my triceps. We're attacking all the points. We're attacking them from a tension perspective with big compounds. We're attacking them from a metabolic fatigue with the JM presses. Again, going to have to keep hammering my triceps until they are no longer a weak link. That's all you can do with weak points. You have to train them as a priority. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.